Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you for joining us. I am Fell in Love with Carly, and I'm here this afternoon, this evening, with another segment of Let Me Be Real with You. And I have a special guest in the seat today. Her name is Miss Ruby Gamble, and I'm excited for her to be here, and I'm excited for you all to be here. Everybody, if you're watching today, there's a special thing. Listen, we got something new, and there's a link in the description for each and every one of you. If you want to jump on the live screen and say something to me, you have a question or comment for myself or Miss Ruby, we're going to pin the link right here in the comments section so you can jump on the screen and be a part of the live broadcast as well. Okay, so y'all know this is my first time doing this, so bear with me and let me be real with you as we do this thing here as a team. Thank you, Miss Ruby, for joining us live.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. I want to just dive into it about who Miss Ruby is, where you came from, how you got started. So can we start at tell us a little bit about yourself? I know that you're an author, you're a journalist. You tell
Well,
me about yourself.
um, I came from Carl and Ruby Fanning. That's where I came from. I have to give that. My parents are deceased, but they were a huge influence on my life and the journey that I chose. I grew up in Cleveland, been born and raised here all my life, and my parents were the type that they supported whatever I wanted to do. I was an avid reader as a child, so books influenced me, and I started writing like by 6 or 7. By the time I could type something with one hand, I was writing, and I knew I wanted to be a writer all my life, and I decided to go into journalism because I could get work. I wanted to be a creative writer, but you got to pay the bills. So I went into journalism so that I could use the skills that I had and really enjoy, have that love for it. And from journalism, I went into media relations. But in the back of my mind, I was still wanting to be a creative writer. I was still writing things and journaling and writing little short stories and things like that. But my husband and my kids gave me a really great opportunity because they were very supportive of my writing. And as a matter of fact, it was after my mom passed that I wrote a short story called Run On Anyhow. And that was my first story I got published in Tavis Smiley's Keeping the Faith.
Mm,
So, and his book went on to win a NAACP Image Award for literature.
wow.
So I was happy and very proud to be a part of that. Um, and from there, with their encouragement, when my kids got older and they were all off in college, they encouraged me to go back to school. So I went to Queen's University of Charlotte and got my MFA in creative writing. And so since then, I've switched gears from journalism and public relations to just focusing on my creative writing. And I went on to write my children's book, The Adventures of J Man.
Okay, now before we get to Mr. J Man, I have a question. First, I want to ask you about your the name of your book, the title, Run On Anyway.
Oh, anyhow,
Anyhow,
right.
anyhow. Okay, so why was that the title? So what brought you to that?
I grew up in the church, and my mother was the choir director, church secretary. My father was a deacon. And when my mother was sick with cancer, she had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. One of the things that she said when they told her that that she wasn't going to make it, that the cancer was spreading, she looked at me and she said, "You know what? Don't you get sad." She said, "Death is a conversation between me and God. Nobody can give me a death sentence. I'm going to run on anyhow." And she did. She lived 6 years longer than what they had anticipated. So when I sat down, I didn't even realize that writing that story about her battle and her journey in those moments was my way of grieving. And the title just seemed to me, Run On Anyhow, made sense because that's what she did. She refused to allow anybody to tell her when she was leaving this earth, how she was going to do it, what was going on. And she traveled, she enjoyed herself and enjoyed being with my kids. And so I just thought that from our church background and the songs and the gospel songs and everything, that it was just fitting because that's what she did. She ran on anyhow.
Congratulations on that book hitting um, the NAACP. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Sometimes we don't give ourselves grace or celebrate those things that we accomplish. And if you haven't, I want to give it to you now. So
Well,
congratulations
thank you so
on
much.
that thing there, because
Yeah,
that's
you
big.
know.
Also, okay, so you're writing another novel as well, right?
Yes, I'm currently working on a novel, and I've lived with this novel for years. It's been a very long time, and I used a portion of it for my thesis when I got my master's. So this summer, I'm giving myself grace and taking that time to really just work on finishing this draft and getting it done, and then taking it from there to where I need to.
When you started writing, what was the hardest thing that you had to overcome to even start, even to pick up the pen? I know you said you started writing at a very young age, but did you ever get to a space where it felt difficult to pick up the pen and write?
Yeah, yet later years, not initially, because no one told me I wasn't supposed to. You know, when you're a kid, you don't know it's supposed to be hard. You're doing it. And it's funny that you asked me that because I just did a boot camp where we realized that as adults and adult writers, you will hit that wall. I'll hit days where the words will flow, and then I'll hit days where I'm just not feeling it. I can't put my butt in that chair. But at the same time, I think it's that part of tapping into the child, and you got to make it play. And that was one of the things I learned in this boot camp, that we forget. We're so busy in the work of it that it loses its sense of fun. And so now when I want to sit and write, I'm like, I want to go play and let that child part of me go back to being creative, because that helps stop hitting the wall so much, because you're taking that pressure off of yourself.
Even when you were writing for your mom, it was still the same way. Like you were able to just channel that. I mean, like,
I'm gonna tell you the truth with that. When I sat down and I wrote that short story, I wrote that short story in about a half a day, and it just flowed. And I really do believe it was all my grief flowing onto the page. And I didn't even really know what I had until, I was done. I wrote it, I read it, edited it. And I heard that Tavis was looking for submissions for his latest book. And something said, just go ahead, send it in. I wasn't really thinking anything of it was going to happen with it. And when I got the call that they wanted to include it in his book, I was stunned. I was just stunned. And I was so happy that the first story that I got, other than journalism stories, but the first creative writing piece that I got was about my mom. It just seemed so fitting. And it meant a lot to me that that was the first thing that was published.
that is so wonderful. I would like to share. I just had a piece entered into a book as well called Poem. Um, Power Over Emotional Trauma, and it's a collaborative effort from a group of people or poets. Because I say people because I don't call myself a poet. I like to write,
Mm-hmm.
but they were asking in Honeybell Bay. That was her project, And so I was in her group, and she was asking people, "Oh, I'm going to do this thing, and you guys submit something if you want to." And
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of the same way. It was like, "Hey, I'm not a poet, but I want to write something. And poems
Right.
don't have to rhyme. I'm just going to put something on paper." And I literally just wrote something straight from the heart and sent it to her. This was
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, and this year I got the email saying, "Hey, you've been chosen to be a part of the book. Poets,
There
come
you
on in.
go.
I want you to speak." I was like, "What? Is this my email?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was just a wonderful occasion. So I was grateful to just jump in with both feet, to just do it, and it
Right.
made me want to push more and continue writing and go ahead and finish publishing the things that I'm working on currently.
Right.
You've worked. When I looked on your website, I see that you've done some interviews on the carpet as well.
Oh
When
yeah.
did you? How did you get there?
Well, as a journalist, I covered every beat that you could think of. I started at the Calling Post. Calling Post. I tell people I'm a Calling Post baby. I started at the Calling Post, cut my teeth there, got my training there, and went to various newspapers in the area. I freelanced with the Plain Dealer. I freelanced it with Northern Ohio Live Magazine, Cleveland Magazine. I wrote for the News Herald, the Star Beacon, and Ashtabula. So it was one of those things where getting all that experience, I covered every kind of beat. But the beat I really wanted to get to was the entertainment beat. And I told my husband when I was at the News Herald, I said, I'm going to be the entertainment writer. And my good friend at the time, who's at the Beacon Journal now, was the entertainment writer. So when he left and went to the Beacon Journal, I moved up and I got that position. So that got me involved in reviewing films and concerts. And I did Sing Magazine, I have written for years with concert reviews and things like that. So when I got a chance to just freelance, when I was like, I'm out on my own, when I left Medical Mutual and I want to do my own thing, I did my own blog called Film Diva. And the film companies all knew me and they would send me to review their films. And sometimes, with meeting with the actors or the junkets or stuff like that. So that's how I did a lot of red carpet. And yeah, you're probably talking about the Kevin Hart red carpet. Yeah, I got called for that. And it was really nice to be able to talk to different people about why they do what they do. And that's the one part I love about being a journalist was just having conversations with people. So I enjoyed doing the red carpet, honey. Those were fun. That was good. Yeah.
I want to know, um, outside of you doing your red carpet and your journalism and everything, I hear you talk a lot about your husband. How has he been in like supporting your journey for everything that you do? How has he been in that? Like, 'cause he has to be a major role.
He is. He is. And I have to say, I have the best husband in the world for me because the moment I met him and he found out I was a journalist, I was living in Ashtabula at the time, writing for the paper there. And he couldn't be more different, financial analyst. But the first thing he said to me was, what do you really want to do? And, I told him I really want to write a book. I want to be creative and write novels and things like that. And he's always said, honey, just do it. Just do it. He's the one told when it was time, when I made that, it's like I refer to it as seasons. My seasons in media relations and all that. When I left Medical Mutual and from doing corporate media relations and all of that, I was going into a new season because he looked at me and said, I want you to be happy and it's time for you to do what's going to make you happy. And he is my number one cheerleader. He sets up everything for me. If I need him to look at contracts or whatever, he's looking at that, the finances of it, or how is this going to work. And he is truly been not just my husband, but my best friend, my number one fan. And I just couldn't have done any of this without him and my girls.
Oh wow. Shout out to the husband and the family. Look, a team.
Yeah, it
Teamwork
is
is
a
great
team.
work.
It literally is a team. It literally is a team. My youngest daughter, she will look at my social media and everything. My middle daughter's a fabulous editor, and my oldest is a videographer. So, like you saw the video with Kevin, she shot that. And so, I have them all here whenever I'm trying to do something. They're right there to help with mom, we'll do it this way or look into it that way. And he's my finance guy. Yeah, he's got me on the numbers. So it really is a family thing, but he has never once said this is a pipe dream, you can't do this. Where he has always been my number one fan and support. And I love him to death for that.
Aw. See, I was hoping I would hear something like that. Look, I was.
Oh yeah, he's good. He'll even try to give me a line or two when I'm writing. I tell him, "You do the numbers, let me do the words." But he's fat. He is really fabulous in terms of support.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Y'all hear that? Get you somebody that's going to support you in your dreams and
That's
everything that you
right.
decide to do. It makes life easier. Don't go against the grain, go with the flow.
Exactly. It does. I mean, to have him just tell me, "Come home. You don't have to go out to work every day. I want you to focus on your dream." That's huge. You can't pass someone up like that. You can't just ignore that kind of love and support. And it was so huge to me when he did that. And I've been home ever since working on it, and I just love him for it.
Wow. Oh, that's good. So, Terry, somebody named Terry. Look, I got my spectacles right here. They got to put them.
You didn't want to put him on.
I want to tell you what the comments are saying. Awesome. That's right. Just do it. Okay, so that's Mr. Terry Du Bois. Okay, Terry Du Bois.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comment. You guys, if you don't know, today is a different kind of show. It's a little more interactive. If you look in the comment section, you'll see a link that you can click and actually join the show. You can ask myself a question. You can ask Miss Ruby a question, and we're open to your questions relating to our topic.
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to click the link and jump in, you guys can click the link and I'll add you to the screen and you can ask your questions, okay? Or comments or whatever it is you'd like to do. And I appreciate you all for watching this. Now I want to get to this Adventures of J Man. First I want to ask you, who is J? Where did you get J Man from? Where did this character come from?
First of all, J Man is a nephew of mine who lives in Atlanta, Georgia, who looks just like the character on the book and is just as sweet. He's older than the character now, but I had started working on this book. Again, this was again one of those things that I'd been working on about 5 years ago. And I wanted to use him as the model because he's the sweetest little boy I've ever seen. Just kind. He'll help you with things. He'll help, auntie, whatever you want done. He's just sweet. His superpower is his kindness. And my daughter's the principal of their elementary school, Julie Beers. Shout out to Julie Beers. She's at the international school in Cleveland now as principal. Um, she taught them about the power of the giraffe. She was very, very adamant about no bullying in the schools. And the power of the giraffe was the giraffe has a big heart
Mm-hmm.
and is kind and is kind to other people. So I took it a little further with the giraffe, stretches his neck out for his friends. He sticks his neck out for his friends. So I wanted to do a book on bullying because I just think it was getting out of hand when my girls were kids. And it's worse now. And it starts when kids are little to teach them the importance of kindness. And J Man, his name is Justice. And Justice is that kind of little boy who really is just kind to everyone he meets. And I thought if he can be that way, other kids can be that way because that's a superpower. Plus, I wanted it to be a book that teaches kids that your heroes are right at home. No matter what their job, whatever, that's your superhero. So that was where I was going with the story when I wanted to create it. And so I wrote it and I workshopped it for a couple years just to make sure it was tight. And then I decided to publish it myself because one of the things I learned while I was at Queens is that when I was getting my master's, you don't have to wait for a publishing company. You can do it yourself, and you reap more of the benefit. And then if the book goes on, they'll see you, they'll find out about you. And the book has been doing very, very well. And it just helps me. I feel like if what I wanted to write something that was going to benefit people. I don't want to just write for the sake of writing. I want to tell a story that you can learn something from and gain some knowledge from.
And this is your first, The Adventures of J Man is your first children's book, right?
Correct. Yes. My first children's book, my first book that's mine, that's out there on the shelf. And I'm so thrilled at the response I've been getting towards the book.
You thinking about doing a volume two?
Yes, definitely. I want J Man to have another adventure. Because I got to put J Man's little sister in it. So,
I was going to
and
ask you, were you self-published, and you jumped right in there. I wrote it down to remember to ask you, and then you went there.
yes,
Um, with so the Adventures of J Man is about bullying.
right.
Okay, can you give them a little bit more? And I want to know, let these people know where they can find your book. Where can they purchase it?
Okay. Well, I'll talk a little bit about the bullying. J Man is starting kindergarten and he sees a little girl that's getting picked on. And what he does is he tells the bully to leave her alone. And the bully is just like, well, who's this kid? You're gonna tell me. And he doesn't know that J Man has his little shirt that has a heart on it with a J in it. That's his superhero shirt that he wears. And he opens up his jacket because he's right then he was Justice, but then he had to become J Man because he was going to stick his neck out. And he does. He sticks his neck out for a sprint. That's his superpower. And the boy that's picking on her thinks this kid is weird because he's sticking his neck stretches. And then all the other kids come and stretch their necks out with him because they're standing behind him. And they're saying, hey, we're going to stick our necks out too. And they don't know that the teacher is behind them watching it. But the bully sees the teacher and he's, like, I'm going to apologize. I'm sorry. But J Man did the right thing and everybody appreciates, they cheer him on and everything because he did the right thing. And one thing I love about it too is that J Man gets picked up in the end by his dad because I think it's so important to see Black fathers in books. We act like they're all not around, and that's not the case. And
Absolutely.
so I wanted to make sure that J Man's father centers in the story as well as his mom and his sister and the whole family unit, but that your friends, if just one kid can stand up, then everybody else can get the courage to stand up with them.
I love
Now, the
it.
second question was the self-publishing. Um, I looked for a publishing house because you have to be careful with self-publishing. First of all, let me just say that there's a lot of companies out there ready to rip people off. The wonderful thing is I've had people in my life that are in the publishing business and have taught me well and told me different things to look for. And what I did is if you look at the big publishing houses like HarperCollins, Ingram, Random House, they might all have a self-publishing arm now because it's so difficult getting published these days. And if you go to a company like that, you know your book is going to be published the way it would be if they had said, "Hey, we're publishing you." So I went to Ingram, and through Ingram, they connected me to Gateway Publishing, and they're right down in Columbus. It was a joy to work with them. They worked with me on everything because you can see some people when they're self-published, they're like, "I've got a book out," and they can hand it to you, and it looks like it's self-published. There's a difference between a book and the books you see in the bookstore. But I wanted my book to look like a book. It didn't scream self-published, and that's why I worked with Gateway Publishing.
Love it. So where can they find your book? Before you answer, my children went and looked your book up, and they're looking at everything and they're reading it. And they said it reminds me of Captain Underpants. They
Oh,
love.
oh, that is a high compliment. My
That's
kids
why I
read
had to
Captain
tell you.
Underpants. So tell them thank you. That is great. Now that just made my day. That made my day. Yes.
That's why I wanted to know what it has to be a volume two because they were so excited about your book.
Oh, good. Good,
And I
good,
didn't
good.
ask them to look it up. They just went to look you up and said, I found the book and it's right here. It's like Captain Underpants. And they were so excited. So if you get children that
Oh,
excited, they're 14, 11, and 9,
oh
about
wow.
a book like that. And they will binge read Captain Underpants. So
That
that meant
is
a lot to me because
awesome.
it really does speak to the heart of the
Yes,
children.
that really touches me. Thank you. Tell your children I love them already and thank you because that is high praise. I know Captain if you don't if you're not familiar with Captain Underpants, it's a very popular children's book and my kids read it. Um I you can find my book on Barnes and Noble, Amazon, or you can go to my website and I'll have links on there too where you could purchase it. But you can get it from Barnes and Noble and Amazon. And I plan on doing another book signing. I did a book signing in Barnes and Noble this past February, and it was phenomenal. We sold out of the books that we had there that day. I did two readings for the children's readings. It was a great day. Because local bookstores, when they do local authors, they only stock up a little bit because they're like, you're local. We don't know how well it's going to do. My books were gone and people were coming in and ordering them. So that was great. So we plan on this summer having another reading where I'll be up there doing a children's story time and signing. But yeah, Barnes and Noble and Amazon or go to my website.
I love it. And I would love to be a part of the book signing. I have been to so many book signings this 2024. I'm in the
I would
race
love to
against.
have you. I would love to have you there. That would be wonderful.
Thank you so much. Do you want to talk about any of the novel for these people so they can know what's coming, or is that something that's going to just unfold at a later date?
I'm a hold off on that. Just know that it's
I
set
tried, y'all.
post slave. I'll give you this. It's set post slavery in Rails, Georgia, which is a real town in Georgia, and it deals with the trauma of life after slavery and how that trauma can be passed on
Mm,
to your children. So I'll give you that much.
mm. And that should
So
be enough to make them ready to watch to see when the book is going to drop.
yeah,
Cause
yeah.
I'm ready to read. It sounds like it's gonna be pretty juicy and deep.
I've got interest in it already, and which was wonderful and exciting. And so that's why I got to get it done. I got to get finished.
Have you looked at into doing any film?
You know, I would love to write a script. Actually, I would love to write a play. I think I'd rather start with the play before a film, but I would love to write a script, and that's something that's in the back of my mind. And I know you've done some scripts, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
See, I'd have to come to you for some advice on that.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
It's definitely a labor of love.
Yes. Yeah.
And see, listen, you've exposed me to my fans. They don't know what I've been doing behind the scenes. I told you. I
Yeah, I'm
told
telling
you.
on her.
It's okay because it's okay that they know, but I told you those things. So they're probably like, "What? Like, is she?" You
Yeah,
heard it here
because
first. So that's
it's
why you guys have to follow me and watch my shows. You never know what I'm working
what's
on
right,
until
what
we.
you learn. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
you really have to have that community of writers, and I think that that's something that I really would love to see happen here, especially for Black writers. Not that I'm saying that writers in general, can't be a part of it, but it can be so difficult for Black writers because sometimes people don't get what you're trying to say in your work, and to have another African American writer read it and be like, oh, I know where you're coming from, or I see where you're going with this, but I might, you might want to think about this. That's something that I really would love to see happen here, where, if you got a script or you got prose or you got poetry, you can get together and just share what you're working on.
that's good. I do have a lot of people that join the live that have been asking me, the publisher, they know I do these shows and everything, and they're asking questions about their writings and everything, and I do my best with what I can. I ask people, I'm resourceful. I'll find somebody for somebody. Um, so I do know I have a pretty big community of people that are into films and script writing and books. I wonder if other people's timeline looks like mine. When I look at it sometimes, like everybody's writing a movie, everybody's doing a movie, everybody's
Right.
doing, you know, I just feel like I'm in the space I need to be in for what I'm actually doing now. This is only a
Hmm.
small part of what I'm doing as far as interviewing people,
Right.
but it's still a big part of everything in my life. This is what I enjoy.
And that's wonderful, because the whole point is to love what you're doing. And that's how I look at it. I'm in the season of creative writing. I've had my season of journalism. I've had my season of media relations. That's gone. I'm now in the season as a creative writer, and I'm in trying to enjoy being in that. And you'll find that you're drawing people to you that need to be right. Like having met you and other people, I'm drawing people to me that I need to have around me, and that just helps you flourish.
It really does.
Hmm.
And it really has been. Um, it's it's such a labor of love. If you guys are watching and you're interested or you have been thinking about writing, and for whatever reason you haven't picked up the pen or your tablet, whatever it is, just do it. Like literally, I don't care if
Exactly.
you just start off writing. Today was my day and I did this. It can be something so simple. Just write something.
It could be. I would tell people stream of consciousness is fabulous. Just sit
Hmm.
down and write whatever's coming to your mind. Don't censor it. Don't correct it.
Just
Don't worry
do
about
it.
spelling. Just write. Let it flow for, like, say, 10 minutes a day. And because that's working the muscle and it's building it and getting it stronger. I love stream of consciousness writing, just sitting there writing whatever's coming to my mind.
When you start writing, I need to know this. When you start writing and you really get into it, do you kind of disassociate from everything around you? It's like losing track of time. Do you ever do that?
Yes. And what's so funny is I can, especially working on my novel, I could be in the middle of a scene that's so heavy that I don't realize I'm crying until I'm feeling my face is wet. That's how deep, I get into the story when I'm writing. And one of the things that I love about Jessamine Ward is an author that's just brilliant. If you haven't read her work, go look her up. I had the chance to meet her when she came to Cleveland and she was doing a reading. And I asked her because Toni Morrison had said at the end of her novel, she always says, I thank my characters for coming.
Mm.
Because she said that she would sit and she'd look at the dock. She had a big window where she had a dock at the outside the window in the water. And she could see her characters literally walking up the dock and she could hear them. I don't outline. I'm not an outline person. I literally hear this. It's like I'm just taking the notes. I'm writing down what's being told to me. And it's like thinking those characters. And when I met Jessamine Ward, she said the same thing, that she can just, the story gets told to you. It's from a higher place, and you tap in. And so when you tap in, you can lose that sense of time, and you can look down and be like, oh Lord, I've been writing for a couple hours and didn't realize it. So when you get lost in the story, you can get lost in the story.
You can. I find that happening a lot too. And they're like, "You've been gone for a week." I'm like, "No, I wasn't." But I'm writing and I'm so into the writing. I don't want to
Yeah.
stop
Mm-hmm.
what's happening. And I'm glad you talked about the outlining thing, because in all these writers classes and film classes, they tell you to do these outlines. And when I write, it's a lot like what you described for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so it makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. It's like I got this the right way. Just keep doing it. Like my creators create themselves.
Exactly.
My
I would
my
tell
characters
anyone,
create
if you
themselves.
wanna,
So it makes me understand. And when I go back and read some of my work, I have so many things I've written. I only have that one thing that's published right now. There's something else on the publishing table right now that I've worked on.
mm-hmm,
But I've written so many things, and they're different types of things. But um, I'm going to look more into the self publishing, because that's where I was concerned about. Like, how do I get these things published in the best light? And hopefully, I'm answering some questions for you guys that are watching, by me, being open and transparent. Maybe this is something that was on you guys' mind as well. Um, but I was concerned about the publishing and making sure that I had my. When you write and you are creative, these things become your baby.
right. And it's like giving birth. And I tell people, you can learn writing. You've got the Lit Cleveland is a wonderful place for writing, because they have classes, it's affordable if you don't want to go to a college. But if you're going to go and you want to get a degree in writing, or something of that nature, pick a writing program that's not designed to break you. That's what I loved about Queen's University of Charlotte. Shout out to them, their MFA program in creative writing. The first thing they tell you is there's no rules to writing. The rules you have, break them. You could write any kind of way that you want to. The point is to make sure the story is good. You've got a hook. That is following something that makes sense. But oh, you have to outline your novel, or you can't write a good novel, or you have no. You write the way you write. The outlining isn't going to happen for me. Now, will I have notes? I have notes all over my desk. I'll stick notes here and there to keep up with things. But for me to just sit there and do an outline, it doesn't work like that. And a lot of times, the next chapters are coming to me in a dream. So
Mm-hmm.
I go with it from that point of view. But now someone else outlining works, and then they should do that. So there's different ways. There's no set way to write. But the one rule that you cannot break is you have to read. If you're going to be a good writer, you got to be a voracious reader.
Love it. Love it. Anybody in your family, do they write?
I have a cousin in Augusta, Georgia, Tyrone Butler, who writes plays. He runs the mini theater. It's the first little black theater in Augusta, and he just got honored by the state, not like last month, for his work in the theater. So he's a playwright and very talented.
I've heard
Um,
his name before.
yeah, yeah, Tyrone Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's my first cousin. And we have a lot of, I have younger cousins that are coming along that are doing writing for newspapers and everything. My youngest cousin Joe Ferguson is at the Washington Post, and he just got hired. He's doing the social media things for them and everything. So it's in our family in different ways.
Your husband should write. He should write about he should write about his journey with you. Like
Don't tell
what
him that. There'll be no living with him.
I
Oh
would love to see his point of view in writing because men have such a way of saying things. I think it'd be so funny. But I also believe it'll be so many amazing nuggets dropped that other people that are married or thinking about married, they might think about it like, wow, with if I supported my wife or significant other this way, then maybe dot dot dot, and they fill in the blanks. I'm all
no.
about people helping people. If you got something that's successful, how did you get there? Like, can somebody else get it? Like, hello guys,
I
everybody's not on
know.
Instagram. Some people are supporting their wives.
Right. Some people are actually, and our kids,
And
that's
the
the one
kids and
thing.
the husbands, people are
Yeah.
supporting each other. Like, get it together.
That's the one thing we did is we always told our children to dream. Whatever you dream, you can be. And so my oldest daughter is she works with adults with mental disabilities. She runs manages the group homes and works with them, loves working with them. My middle daughter is a lab technician at Cleveland Clinic. She got her degree in forensic biology and she went on from there to work at Cleveland Clinic, which was her dream hospital when she got there. And my youngest just graduated like 3 weeks ago with her master's in museum studies. She has a bachelor's in archaeology and she works at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So they're living their dreams because we encourage them to do that, but also because they saw us living our dreams. So that whole support thing is so important when you're raising kids and you're being out there and you're never too old to dream. I think it was Idris Elba did a thing that said, what do you want to be when you grow up? But he did it to grown up people because you never stop growing up. And I love that. So I always say, I'm still growing up. When I grow up, I'll let where I'm going to head in 10 more years.
I have a final question. It may not be the final question. It don't have to be the wrap up, but just I have another question for you. It's kind of off topic, but not really. When you were a little girl, what was that one thing that you loved to do? And you can't say writing. What was that childhood thing that you just really loved to do, like hopscotching and double dutching or swings? Like, what was that one thing that you really love to do that you no longer do?
Bike ride. I don't bike ride like I did when I was a kid. Oh my God. Outside on the bikes with my best friends. We just ride around to the library to get my books. But bike riding, I love just being out in the air, feeling the air on you. And I don't have the time or the back for bike riding like I used to.
I
I keep
thought you were
saying
going to
I'm
complain about the seat.
that too. I keep saying I'm gonna get one of these electric bikes. I said maybe if I get an electric bike, it'll work a little bit better. But I miss bike riding.
That's a good
That's
one.
yeah. Because I got a little
But it's
granddaughter
nice
now,
when
so
you
I'm
talk
gonna get
about
out there
that
and do some
childhood thing
hopscotch.
so they can remember that because sometimes we're so busy adulting,
Yes, we forget to
we forget
play.
our childlike spirit.
Yes, we forget to play. And I'm gonna be out there with my granddaughter and doing some hopscotching and all of that. I'm getting ready for that. I'm gonna
And
do it.
blow some bubbles.
And blow some bubbles. That's right. Because she loves bubble. That's her favorite word. She's like 20 months and she can say bubble. She loves saying bubble. But I that's the thing. We got to get back to the child inside of us and play again. And that's what makes you creative.
There you go. Do you have any final words for anybody? You've given so much. Is there anything that anybody that's on here, like just words of encouragement, something that falls in your spirit that you may want to offer to give these people, even when they
Well,
tune back in
was
to
there
watch
any
today's night?
questions? Were there any questions anybody had that they
Um,
wanted?
Let me go back to my comments. No, they just all watching.
Oh, okay. The what I would say, believe in yourself. And that's a hard thing to do for all of us sometimes. But I am a firm believer that the divine has given each one of us all the tools we need to do what our purpose is on this earth, to fulfill it. We have to just sit down sometimes and quiet ourselves and listen. And when you listen, you'll find where you need to be, what you need to be thinking, what you need to be doing, and move from there. Move in spirit. That's the best thing I can say. I am a firm believer in moving in spirit and trusting the divine, and you'll be where you need to be.
I love it. Where does Miss Ruby Gamble see herself in 2 years?
Um, on a book tour for my novel. Yes, doing a book tour. And back on your show telling you about it.
Oh yes, let me have. You can do an update before 2 years.
Yes.
Just to let you know. You guys, for all of you guys have been DMing me and reaching out to me about being on my show. I'm back. I will be doing this weekly at least. We're going to start off at least once a week. So I will be jumping back. I wanted to have you in person. That hasn't happened. Things happen behind the scenes, which is also okay. So we'll be back here doing our virtual thing to keep things going until we get in this building thing. Whatever else is happening next. I don't want to tell y'all too much because y'all know I talk too much. So I'm trying to work out the kinks first. So we'll be back this way, and you guys will be able to still jump in the box. Oh wait, I do have. Hold on, y'all know I need my glasses. I see y'all little tiny comments. Hold on, hold on. Okay. Aisha says, peace and blessings. Oh, she wanted. So, Aisha, if you still wanted to ask your questions, you still can. If you'd like to click the link and jump in, you can. It's okay. Did
Okay, I
you do
see
that?
that. Yeah.
That's so dope. Okay, and then my IT person is behind the scenes. I'm
Oh,
like, oh my God.
I love you too, Terry.
She's like, my mama don't need to be used. Just put the glasses away, Bajay. Sure. I put them on.
Why would you say my name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dark Soul. I'm sorry.
That's not my name either.
Oh, I'm sorry, IT person. I'm still alive. She could not stand being on Front Street, so she's my IT person. Y'all didn't hear that, okay?
No, we didn't hear it. We didn't hear
They
it.
didn't
That was
hear it.
IT.
Oh my gosh, she's behind the scenes. We were trying to get everything set up, and I guess we set it up pretty good behind the scenes because you saw I was up here with no hands and she was over there just, I didn't know she entered back in the room, but she absolutely did. Aw. Okay, let's see if I could get her on the screen. There we go. That's for you. She's like,
Oh, thank you so much. Nice meeting you too, Aisha.
Miss Aisha is a beautiful woman. She was on my show last week. I believe it was last week. I have this new journey of my life right now where a lot of people, if you have watched my pages, you'll know I have lost my hair, so I wear this other stuff here until I'm ready to show my new look. And I was out one day last week, and I was didn't have it on. I just had like a little scarf or something on, and I was like, oh God, no. And my daughter's like, Mommy, you're beautiful. You're gonna wear your hair. You're not wearing that stuff no more. You can throw
Hmm.
those away. I'm
That's
like,
right.
okay, whatever. Not gonna happen. And as soon as I walked in the store, this beautiful lady just looks at me and says, "You look so beautiful." And she didn't know that I was dealing with my own journey at that particular moment of trying to
Right.
this new come to self moment of trying to figure this whole new look out of myself. And I was in a difficult space. And so we go through the store. Here's my daughter. She's 11. I told you, Mommy, throw them wigs away. You don't need those. And I'm like, girl, leave me alone. So as I walked through the store, I kind of got emotional. I was like, well, dang, she don't even know what she just did for me. Like, I so into so many people, tell them that they're beautiful, they're all these things. And in that moment, I needed that.
Right.
And so she actually was outside eating popcorn when I went to leave. And I was like, and she eating my favorite snack, popcorn. I walked over and let her know, like, listen, what you said to me, I needed that. And I told her about the hair journey, and it's my first time outside without my protection over here. And she shared as well her journey and with her daughter and what she's dealing with. That she had almost her daughter had she had to cut her daughter's hair because of a medical situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I've been telling people that I was going to do another show, and I think my first show back, I should have you. I said I told people I was gonna do a show, but I don't know who my guest is gonna be. But I really
Mm-hmm.
believe God is telling me that you should be my first guest back, and we should talk about this. And she was so excited to get on the show. She does candles. I left the candle upstairs burning. Um, she does candles, and they're beautiful. They smell good. I mean, these things burn forever and they
Mm-hmm.
smell amazing. And she's like, well, I do my candle, so I got a candle and I showed it on here. And she's been an amazing supporter since I met her with sharing and being a part of my broadcast and everything. And I like to give people their shower them and let people know who is being supportive because everybody don't want to do that. But
Right.
she's a beautiful goddess, and she blessed me with that. So she was the one that had me jump back on my live broadcast. And so you'll be my second one in 2024 so far. And I'm going to continue, you guys. I'm going to keep
Oh,
going.
that's
And you're
wonderful.
going to hear me talk more about my hair journey, whether it's something I up or down in between. You guys are going to hear it here. And you're going to see me reveal the whole new look eventually, real soon.
Okay. And
Real soon. So,
Aisha, she asked about, she said she wanted to write and didn't know where to start. Just start journaling. Start small, write a journal. But the other thing too is read the kind of things that you would like to write.
mm,
Read different authors and of the type of writing, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, but read the type of things that you would like to write, and hopefully that can inspire you. And start small. Don't just jump in like, oh, I'm going to write a novel, because that's madness. Trust me, I know. But you can start small, start journaling, writing your thoughts. Keep a notebook with you when you're out and about and you see something, you just want to write down an observation, or people, the way they speak, their cadence, how they look, something that might remind you of a character. Do stuff like that. But start small, journal, and get your writing muscle going. But definitely read.
there you go. I'm so glad she made it on. I was looking for her. Let me see. I didn't even put my glasses back on to read what she was saying.
Give
Oh, there
flowers
you
while
go.
we
Thank
live.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate this our interview today. I'm gonna say God is good because it's been so heartfelt, and I appreciate you for being as authentic as you are and bringing the whole Ruby to the panel. Like, I appreciate that. So thank you for it, and thank you for trusting my broadcast and trusting me enough to say, okay, let's do it. Let's just do it. Anybody out there that want to reach out to Ms. Ruby Gamble, I did have. Let me put it back up here. Her, I'm gonna put it back. Her website is right here, rubygamble.com. Also, you guys, like shameless plug. I'm running for favorite chef 2024. Make sure y'all click the link in the bio and vote for me. Okay, y'all gotta keep me up. I got a couple more rounds to make it because I want to cook with Carla Hall, y'all. That's my thing. So
That's
make sure you
that's my
vote for me and
girl.
share the link.
I love Carla.
I love her too. So that's my thing, you guys. I love to cook. I love to talk, and we're gonna make it all the way to see Miss Carla. So I need you guys' support. I can't vote for myself or I'll be disqualified. So I need you
Yes.
guys to support. Just click that link in the bio for me and help me make it all the way. The vote is free and a share is free too.
That's right. And you can find me on Facebook under Ruby Gamble Writer. You can find me on Instagram as Ruby Gamble Writer. And, contact me any kind of way, that you like. I will get back to you. Buy the book for your kids. And if you like a signed copy and you're in the area, let me know. I will gladly sign it. But I appreciate you for even having me on your podcast. It was such a thrill, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. And to you, I appreciate you. So if you guys want to reach out to me and want to jump in the box with me next to see if you could get a spot on my show, send me a DM and let me know that hey, I'm interested in being on your show. I'll ask you a couple of questions. You might be next. I'm Fell in Love with Carly, and this is my show. Let me be real with you. Thank you again, Miss Ruby Gamble, and thank you,
Thank
everybody who's
you.
watching us. And y'all know how to. I love y'all. Now go ahead and love yourselves. Have a
Yes.
wonderful evening, you guys. Bye
Yes.
now.
Bye.